Welcome, everyone. How is everyone doing? Had to change my time here. Come on in. I won't be here long with you. Come on in. Put some music on. Gives people a chance to come in. I know you guys probably thought I wasn't coming, but I was coming in here because I need to complete this message. How is everyone doing? Just give people a few minutes to come in. The world didn't give it to me. Come on in. Let me know you are here. Welcome. Thank you for joining me tonight. Not today, tonight. Thank you for joining me. Turn it down. My name is Monique. I'm a life coach and I teach women how to take responsibility for their happiness, success, and freedom. Come on in. I finally got this done. I finally got through. How is everyone doing? Come on in. Say good afternoon to me. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, thank you, Jacqueline. Come on in, everyone. I just want to correlate something right quick with you all. I thought about doing this the other day. But I just wanted to be sitting down to create as a teaching moment. Come on in. Hello, Matt. I am. I'm trying to glow, Matt. Listen, I'm doing a lot of work, honey. When I tell you I'm fighting, I am fighting. I'm doing a lot of inner work, a lot of self-care, self-healing, self everything. Just trying to make sure I'm together. Hello, Keisha. Hey, fam. I'm giving people time to come in. How is everyone doing? How was your weekend so far? How was your weekend? Yes, I've been doing a lot of work. Like, you know, the only people we could be responsible for is ourselves. We're not responsible for anyone else and what they're doing. Like, as I've stated, no one is coming to rescue us. No one is coming to rescue us. Like, people really don't care about what you have going on with yourself. You have to be responsible and say, you know what? I need to be taking care of me. I need to make sure I'm all right. I need to make sure I'm healthy because you waiting for someone to rescue you. They're not coming. That's one of my sayings. No one is coming to rescue you. So we have to take all that focus and all that energy to focus on ourselves. And we have to do the work. We have to do the healing, right? So let me scoot back some. I don't want y'all to think I'm going to have on the top under here. We have to do the work. So that's one of my main things with the responsibility channel. Excuse me, and just making sure we are doing the work on ourselves because a lot of times we sit around and we wait for people to rescue us. Like we wait for somebody to just see us sitting there hurting, see us, in turmoil and, just wanting us to just be, um, like it's almost like you sitting there waiting for somebody to see that you're sad and that you're hurting. And people really don't care like that. I'm gonna be honest. People don't care. They're not going to check on you and make sure that you are okay. Like you make sure people okay. I did a message a little while ago. Like as a chosen one, we don't have people in our corner how we are there for people, right? We don't have that. We don't have people in our corner like we are there for others, right? We don't have that. Only God. Exactly, Jacqueline. And that's what I've been doing, Matt. Listen, it's me and God. I can't go complain to nobody about my problems. I can't go whine and complain because people really don't care. Because, as I'm going to talk about with this prime effect, we're talking about Deion Sanders. And I was just sitting here thinking, I guess I'll start my message too. I was just sitting here thinking, I don't, I don't hate football, but I'm not into football like that. I'll sit and watch it. When I was younger, I used to like football, and one of the people that really introduced me to football like that was Deion Sanders. Like when I was younger, back in the '90s, when I was a little younger, I had what was called the starter jacket. Y'all remember the starter jackets? He was with the 49ers. And I really wasn't into football like that. But what made me, focus and pay attention to football was him, right? Like Deion Sanders was just, he was a young African American kid. Like I was able to relate, to him. He was from Florida. I was from Florida. And just to see him, you know, play in a spirit of excellence is what made me pay attention to football, right? I'm not a fan like that. But I will watch football if it's a person like, just a person that is just good and everybody's talking about them. But this is what I want to come talk about. And I wanted to just correlate it with, being like a chosen one, or just being, if you don't even know you're chosen, just operating in the spirit of excellence. And one thing about, when you're a person like Deion Sanders and you have what they have now, the prime effect, um, like everything that you touch, everything that you speak on, it's almost like it turns to gold. And a lot of people don't know the prime effect is just favor, right? A lot of people don't know when you operate in the spirit of excellence, right? When you operate in the spirit of excellence, that is usually what happens. I can't really, I'm not a person to sit here and try to judge and pick apart everybody's life, and to say who's with God and who's not with God, and like just breaking down people's lives, and just trying to nitpick at every little thing that a person does. But what I can say, when you have favor and when you have the spirit of excellence, as Deion Sanders does, right? As you have that prime effect, as you have what I would see as the anointing, as favor, it's going to bring good and bad. And that's what I want to talk about with us. Whenever you have favor on your life as a chosen one, just like Deion Sanders, we know this guy wasn't perfect. He went through all types of issues, in his life, coming up and experiencing 2 divorces that he talked about, just making mistakes. And as a chosen one, you're going to make mistakes because the mistakes are there to teach you. They're there so you can learn lessons from those mistakes. But that don't mean that God is not with you. That does not mean that God is not with you. Don't allow your mistakes to um to make you believe that God is not with you, because he's with you in the mistakes. That's how you know you're chosen. You know you're chosen because even in your mistakes, he still seemed to make a way for you, right? He still seems to make a way for you. He looked out for you in certain areas. I know when I was doing my thing, when I was um out living not how I should be living, just living in, my foolishness, and living in, my pain and just misunderstanding. I knew God was with me. Oh, several times. I know God was with me. I say that couldn't be nobody but God. I know I'm protected. I know I got some angels, or somebody's watching over me, or somebody praying for me. I'm like, I know I got somebody, just looking out for me. So just because you have experienced pain or you've experienced hardships, that don't mean that God is not with you. Now, what it does mean now, although he's with you, it means that you're probably not with him. Because sometimes we could get to a point to where we're not really on God's team like that. We know he's there and we know he's with us, but we're not with him. We're not being obedient to what he's telling us to do. Right. And I was listening to a little bit of, Deion Sanders' story about, excuse me, about he said he heard the voice, right? He said he heard God's voice calling him. See, one thing I noticed what God does, God does, he take people who are he take people who are good at something, who got that grit, who got that that spirit of excellence, who got fight in them. He always come get, see, God always come get people who are, they already top of the line, but a lot of them, they've been through hardship. See, people think hardships is something always from the enemy, although the enemy do use hardships to try to break us, but God uses that to strengthen us. He uses that to strengthen us. And see, he'll use people, like Deion Sanders. He'll use people like Deion Sanders or anybody else who have the spotlight on them, or the Tim Tebows. See, he'll use people like that who got the spotlight so he could still get his message out to folks. Yes, he will. He will do that. He will. He will. He will use people who are not afraid to call on the name of God, who's not afraid to call on Jesus in the public eye. No, you don't have to be perfect. And see, that's what people misunderstand. They think folks have to be perfect. No, you don't have to be perfect, because you got some people who are not bold enough. You have some people that have all this money, wealth, and fame, and they'd be afraid to say the name of Jesus. They'll say God, but some of them won't say the Lord Jesus Christ. They won't say that. They'll keep it what it is. They'll keep it broad and say God. And we all know there's many gods. Okay. But what God will do is he'll use people in who has a platform, who's in the public eye. He'll use them for his glory. He'll use them to get to where, to get to the people he needs to get to. He will. He will. But anyway, that's why when it comes to Deion Sanders, let me tell you what I've been noticing. And we're gonna relate this to the chosen ones, right? When it comes to the prime effect, you have the good and you have the bad, right? And I'm gonna talk about the bad first. When you are when you have an effect and when you operate in a spirit of excellence, you're going to have haters. You're going to have haters. You have to remember that's part of it. When you are operating in the spirit of excellence and you're trying to do what God is calling you to do. Because ministry is just not in a church building anymore. I don't know if y'all know that. Ministry is the chosen ones wherever they go, wherever you go as a chosen one, you're ministering. You're ministering. Just like he said, God is using football for him to minister. Everybody's way is not going to look the same. I'm so glad I came to the knowledge and understanding that ministry, he don't have to only use me in the church. I don't have to be in the church for him to use me. He could use me on the job. He could use me anywhere. He could use some people in the streets. Some people who are chosen, they're walking the streets. They're walking up and down, the the red light districts. And nobody don't know. They're not recording it. They're not putting it on YouTube. They're not talking about it. It's not a camera everywhere they go to do what God is telling them to do. They're not doing that. Everybody way is different. Everybody call is different. Just like everybody's not called to be on YouTube. Yes, exactly. She reigns. And see that's what people don't understand. People don't understand. God is not going to do things how our education our education says, like our little degrees and stuff and our little knowledge. We think we could put God in the box. We can't put God in the box. It's not going to make sense. Everything is not going to make sense when God does it. And see, that's what we try to do as people, as mere humans. We try to make sense out of everything. You'll drive yourself cuckoo. You'll drive yourself crazy if you try to make sense of everything. You're not going to make sense. And see, one thing about what I learned too, one of the things that I've noticed with Deion Sanders, when you're favored, when God is telling you to move and do different things, right? When he's telling you, and I'm not saying that I know God spoke to him, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, you know, I know what God said to him. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is when God speaks to people, he's not going to do things that's conventional, traditional. He's not going to do things how we think they should be done. He's not going to do things that way. We put limits on God. When God tells you to move, yes, God is not traditional. And see, a lot of people look like me. People that look like us, we think God is traditional. He's not traditional. We want to keep God in a box. That's why they got mad at him for leaving JSU. When they got mad at that man for leaving JSU, they wanted to limit him. And they wanted to call him all types of names. And that's what I wanted to come. My next thing, my next point. Not only will you be hated, right? Not only will you be hated, people will try to place limits on you. They'll tell you when God is telling you one thing, they'll tell you, oh no, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to stay here because you need to help these type of people. You need to help them. Have you ever thought that JSU was not big enough? They didn't have a big enough platform. And God orchestrated him to move to Colorado because he know that people like us would think it's about this here. It ain't about this. It ain't about no skin color. You can't limit God to a skin color. I don't care what people are preaching about. I don't care what they say, Jesus, black, white, blue. You can't limit him to no skin color. That's why most of us get stuck and not believe. And that's why most of us walking away and we worshiping the ancestors. Y'all don't let Wakanda forever cause y'all to walk away. And now y'all worshiping ancestors. Now he leading y'all, the enemy don't lead y'all back into bondage. Y'all being led back into bondage. Oh, I ain't believing no white God. I ain't believing. No, you better go. You better go. You better go back and seek God for yourself. And seek him for yourself. Because he's not doing church as usual. People just want an excuse not to at least try to do right. They haven't sought God for themselves. They just watch what somebody else doing. Worried about what somebody else doing. And you haven't gone to him for yourself. But people will try to place limits on God, and they'll try to place limits on what God is doing in your life. And you will be hated for it. And unfortunately, people will come for you. Like they coming from this man, call him all kind of names because he's not doing what they want him to do. They'll go to digging up your past, talking about your failures in your past. That's part of it. That's part of it. But see, that's why you go through so much so God can strengthen you. So when he calls you to do his work, you ain't gonna have no excuse. You ain't gonna have no excuse. They going back talking about this man's past, his failed marriages, all of that. That ain't gonna stop God from using you though. That's not stopping God from using him. What people don't know is his past is an indication that God is using him. They bringing up things that he's learned lessons from. That's just like you. You've learned lessons from things you have. I learned lessons from things that I've experienced from my past. It don't take me. It don't take me a long time. It don't take me a long time. They will go and pull up your things in your past. They'll try to exaggerate your failures. Yes, they will. They'll put that on the forefront. The people who don't want you to the people who are jealous and the ones who don't want you to operate in that spirit of excellence. They're going to call your confidence arrogance. When you're confident in Christ, it is going to come off as arrogance to some people who just don't believe God how other people believe him. But you have to know who you are and you have to know where you're coming from. They're going to call it arrogance. They are going to call it arrogance. They're going to say you don't believe in this God and that God, and they're going to pick you apart, but you have to be ready for that. They're going to hate on you. They're going to exaggerate your failures, try to place limits on you. They're going to bring up things you have learned your lessons from that you experienced in the past. Okay. And this is another thing. And this is why prayer and fasting is so important. They're going to start speaking death over your success. People are going to see you winning. They're going to see you being blessed. They're going to see the favor of God on your life. Guess what? They're going to start speaking death over you. They're going to start speaking death over your family, over your children, because of the envy in their hearts. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And see, people don't know. People don't know when you're operating in the spirit of excellence. That's going to bring favor. It's going to bring favor. And this is what I'm going to go into the good side of the prime effect, the good side of operating in the spirit of excellence. Because the only thing the prime effect is the spirit of excellence. That's all. It's just the spirit of excellence. Everything you do it with excellence. And no, see, people don't understand the difference with being kind and nice. When you're nice, you're trying to bend to please people. You're trying to adjust to everybody. And you can't do that. When you're kind, you're respectful of folks. You're not adjusting to try to please people. But when you have that spirit of excellence, there are also some good things that come with that. And like I said, unexplained favor. When you have a spirit of excellence, people are going to hate you even more because they could be doing the same thing as you. And this is why you shouldn't covet. This is why you should ask God to show you what you need to be doing. People could have a plan identical to your plan. They can do everything you do. Business plan, same, you got the same business plan. Same plan. Boop, boop. This is the one that's not favored. This is the one that's favored. You got the same plan. And the one that is favored, that plan is just getting all type of favor. Everything's going right. Right? Everything is going right. The other person is trying to figure out over here why this person's plan is going right. This person plan don't have the favor of God on it. You can't do what somebody do who got favor. You will hurt yourself. You will hurt yourself, and that's why God said don't covet. You will hurt yourself. You will get jealous and be envious, and then you will develop that murderous spirit on you because you hate the favor on somebody's life that only God could give you. Only God can give you that. Only He can give you that. And He give you that when you're obedient to what He tells you to do. To what He tells you to do. You're obedient. I was watching a clip of um Deion Sanders 2020, 2020 interview. And the interviewer was so negative, and the interviewer was a hater because the interviewer tried to make it out of a black and white thing. The interviewer, if you go back and watch, go Google um 2020 prime, I mean Deion Sanders 2020 prime interview. And I usually don't get into all this type of stuff. I usually don't talk about it. You never really saw me talk about anything like this, trying to break down something and correlate it to what we're dealing with as a chosen one. I don't do this. I was led to do this, right? So, but anyways, people will try to trip you up in your words. There was one point in the interview where the guy said that, you know, that he left so soon, something to that nature, basically trying to say that he abandoned those children. And that's what the enemy will try to do. The enemy will try to limit you and try to make you responsible for something that you're not responsible for. Regardless of what people say, regardless of what commentary and what they think that guy should have did. But if God is telling him to go, he needs to be going. You have to be obedient to what God is saying, not to what man is saying. Because, see, a lot of us do that. We won't make moves because it's not going to benefit everybody. It's not going to benefit your family. Yes, it's not going to benefit the majority of the people. When God is telling you it's not about the majority of the people. The assignment I have on your life is not about where you are, the limit, that the limitations that they're trying to put on you. Your assignment is bigger. So you need to listen to where he's telling you to go. He's trying to tell you to go bigger. The enemy is always using emotions, victimhood to keep folks stuck. Because if you're stuck in your emotions and victimhood, you can't listen to what your spirit is saying. You can't listen to what your spirit is saying. You can't listen to God. You're not going to listen to what your spirit is saying because you're ruled by your emotions. And they got mad at this man because he decided to go elsewhere. Folks being hypocritical. Being hypocritical. I understand what people are saying. I understand everything they're saying about bringing money to HBCUs, about being a what it is, a positive role model, and in folks' lives, right? Being a positive role model, but that is not his responsibility. His allegiance is not to his nationality. His allegiance is to God. And most of us miss opportunities because we have pledged our allegiance to the culture, to the culture. Not saying that you shouldn't be black and proud. Not saying that you should be proud. And see, this is another thing I like about Deion Sanders. And nobody could say anything against what I'm about to say. One thing about him, I noticed, when you're operating in the spirit of excellence, you're consistent everywhere you go. You are how you are everywhere you go. He take his same self everywhere he goes. So you can't say the guy is selling out. He taking his culture. He know who he is. He take his culture everywhere he go. He didn't go over there and say, play my theme music, and he playing some country theme music. He playing some who I know who's country. Some Keith, what the name is? Heath, what the man name is? What the man name? Heath, the country guy. That's the only person I can know that I know. Is it John Heath? I don't know nope, not him. The country guy, the Heath guy. He didn't go change. And see, that's what people don't like. You're going to see, when you're operating in the spirit of excellence, you're not going to be able to please people. And I know him going to Colorado. And it's not about him going to Colorado. But I know him going to Colorado, he brought he got a lot of envy and hate there too. Because people are not used to that type of energy. They're not used to, right? That type of, like, you bringing a whole nother culture to somebody else's house. And that's why people envy the chosen ones. I know Deion Sanders is a chosen one. He's a chosen one. People envy the chosen ones because they want you to be somebody you are not. They want you to change when you're around your white counterparts, when you're around your black counterparts, and you still be consistent across the board. When you get to that place where you're you, right? When you get to that place where you're you across the board, and you know what God you serve, you know who you are, you're a force to be reckoned with. You're a force to be reckoned with. But now, when you get to that point, you know who you are. You are you on this side and that side, whether people are comfortable or not, because people like the interviewer from 2020. Go watch the interview. People like that interviewer like to use your words and see if Deion didn't know who he was, if he didn't have the experience in the game, if he wasn't sharp, because he shot that guy down quite a few times. He shot him down quite a few times with truth and facts. People want to find because you're being glorified, because you're being praised, and because you're making a change. People don't like that. Because you have to make some, as we say, changes, you make some adjustments. People are not going to like that. That's just like when he went to Colorado. He gave them boys, he was upfront and honest. And he told them boys that y'all can jump in the portal. I told you I'm not a football fan like that. And I don't understand all the ins and outs, but I understand leadership when I see it. I understand the spirit of excellence when I see it. And the spirit of excellence will always come with the truth. And people are going to hate you when you speak the truth. They're going to hate you when you stand for the truth. They're going to hate you. Because he said when he was hired, not only were the coaches not doing their job, the students were not doing their job either. So he had to make some adjustments. He had to get people on his team that's going to bring Colorado the wins that they hired him to bring. When folks hire you to do a job, you there to do the job. Your name on the line. Not only did he get the job, they paid him well. And that's another thing. When you got the spirit of excellence, guess what? Wealth is going to come with that. Wealth is going to come with that. You don't have to worry about that because people are going to see your value. They're going to see what you're saying. They're going to recognize your gifts and your talents, and people are going to pay you for it. You don't have to run behind people to pay you. They're going to pay you for what you're worth. These people believed in this man so much, they didn't even have the millions to pay him. That man said, we're going to get the millions. They didn't even have the money. Go back and watch the interview. Go back and watch some of the clips. This is not something I'm just telling you all. I'm just following the facts from what he said out of his mouth. They didn't even have the millions. Basically, they just gave him a, I won't say a blank check, but and see, when people know your value, see, this is what I'm talking about right here. I'm gonna break this down without sounding like I'm being hateful or racist or prejudiced against my own people, because people take this and switch it. Sometimes the people who are familiar with you, they don't understand how valuable you are. Them familiar spirits, your family, when Coach Prime was at JSU, they didn't understand the value that they had. They didn't understand because people are not, if you're not elevating your thinking, if you're not, raising the bar in your thinking and understanding leadership and understanding principles, you're not going to see the value that you have. You're not going to value it until it's gone. Some of y'all are excellent and beyond in your spirit, but your own family don't see that you're the chosen one. Your own family don't see that you're the Joseph in your family. It takes for you to go somewhere else where people are going to value what you bring to the table and let you be who you are. Let you bring what you need to bring. This is why you have to know your value. Some of y'all been in relationships. People didn't value you. They had got too familiar with you, thinking you don't have anything to offer. But as soon as another person get with it, the shiny object, oh, now I made a mistake. I didn't know what I was doing. I let the devil, no, you didn't let the devil use me. You just use you. You just didn't value what you had. People take what is valuable for granted because they're familiar with it. I grew up with kids like that. I didn't have my mom there. And I mentioned this a few times. They had their moms there, had parents present. Them kids didn't appreciate having a parent. I appreciated their mothers more than they appreciate their own mothers. It's like that. But when Dion went to Colorado, guess what? Them people didn't hesitate to come up off their money because of the value. And that's just in the beginning. I'm not sure how he's going to do from this day of the video on, which I know is going to be good, but I'm not sure. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about when you operate in the spirit of excellence, what it's going to do. It's going to bring wealth. It's going to bring opportunities, not only for yourself, but people who are connected to you. Look how many people he brought with him to help him succeed. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by yourself. No, you can't. People are going to be blessed because they're connected to you, connected to the person who operates in the spirit of excellence. Look at his children are blessed. All of his children just blessed because of their dad operating in the spirit of excellence. Coaches, players, they're being blessed because of the chosen one operating in the spirit of excellence. When you operate in the spirit of excellence, you're going to bless people around you, are going to be blessed. That's just how it is. And if you're around someone who is operating in that spirit of excellence, don't let the devil use you. Don't let the enemy use you to take advantage and speak ill of the person who God put in your life to bless you. Because that's what a lot of people mess up too. They'll fight against the blessing instead of embracing the blessing. You know you want to be a blessing. You came with the open heart and spirit and mindset to say, you know what? I'm going to be a blessing to this person, that person. But people miss out on their blessing because they let the enemy use them. They let the enemy cause them to be jealous and fight against the very blessing that God put in their path. Because they don't understand. And then they lose out. And then later, they'll try to come back around. But the person remembers, the person forgives, but the person remembers when you had the opportunity, you didn't do right with the opportunity. So they close the door. And God has to do something else for you. But you don't miss out on that opportunity that God had sent the first time. So now you got to wait. You got to get back in the assembly line. And you have to wait. And another good thing that happens when you operate in the spirit of excellence is that there are many opportunities. Not only will you open the doors for others, but for you, there are many opportunities. You can choose to pick up the litter. You can choose to pick. And not only that, many opportunities, whatever opportunity you choose, God is going to blow on it. He's going to blow on it. Because everybody talking about some glasses, some shades. Everybody talking about some glasses. That sold over 1 million copies. I don't even think the glasses are available to some. It's so many glasses were sold that some are on back order to December. But whatever you touch as a chosen one, and you stay connected and you stay submitted to God, this doesn't mean you're perfect. See, when you break this mindset of being perfect and worried about how other people say you should be praying and worshiping God, how other people say you should be connecting with God, once you break out of that, you will be able to hear God better, because you'll be able to hear for yourself without all the distractions and the noise. One thing about religion places limits on people. It places so many limits on people to where they can't experience God to his fullest, because we're always so worried about how we are going to look to other people instead of how we're going to look to God. Are we being obedient? A lot of us were not brought up believing God the same way. He's undoing a lot of things and teaching us how we should be worshiping him. And it takes time. It takes time to unlearn. It takes time to unlearn what's not right, what's not the right way, or what's not working. And also, when you have that spirit of excellence, you're always going to receive, it's almost like wisdom downloads. You're going to receive wisdom from God on how to move, about. You're not going to always know everything, but he will give you the wisdom to make the right decisions. And sometimes when God tell you to do something to your little small mind, you're like, this don't make sense. Why would I do this? This don't make sense. It's not supposed to make sense. He's God. What he does don't make sense. You read in the Bible, sound like some fairy tale stuff. Burning bush, talking donkeys, staffs into snakes. That don't make sense. All in the pot, continuous oil in the pots. All that, the stories, that stuff don't make sense. And you know what didn't make sense to me? I'm like, man, God is ruthless. Let me tell you what didn't make sense to me, y'all. You remember the story about the talents, right? You remember the story about the talents in the Bible. Go read it. What didn't make sense to me is the one who had the one talent, and he didn't go and do anything with the talent. And that didn't make sense to me. The one who had the one talent, God called him wicked. He called the person wicked, the man wicked. The parables of the talent. I'm like, that don't make sense to me. The man only had one. You know, when you try to understand stuff from your little, you know, small way of thinking, it don't make sense. But on the spiritual level, it makes sense. He called the guy wicked. He was fearful and stingy, afraid. He was afraid. And I said, okay, that makes sense. Everybody else had invested, did what they needed to do, brought back more, doubled their talents. And you got the one, that poverty mindset. You got the one with the poverty mindset went and buried his little talent. You don't want nobody to see it. You want to keep it to yourself, hoarding. Hoarding. I'm like, when I first read that, I'm like, man, God, I'm like, that don't sound right, you know? Because we don't be understanding when we read the Bible. We have to ask God for revelation and understanding. That's how come you can read something and you think it means something that you read 3 years ago, 4 years, maybe a decade, and you come back and read it now, it has a whole different meaning. It don't took on an entire life of its own. I'm just like, Lord, just increase my faith. If I don't have nothing else, increase my faith. I don't want to live in fear of nothing, no economy, no famine, no nothing. I don't want to live in fear. Increase my faith. But when you operate in the spirit of excellence, I'm going to go over some more points. I'm going to go over the points again because I'm getting ready to get off. And I hope you all enjoyed my message. Oh yes, when you have the spirit of excellence, there's going to be good and bad. That comes with it. We have to learn who we are in Christ. We have to learn who we are, who we're becoming. No, we don't know everything. Don't let people make you abort your walk because you're not where they think you should be. This is a journey. It is a journey. It's not something you're going to get overnight. Especially when you wasn't brought up in the ways, the true ways of worshiping God. It's a journey for all of us. I don't care how old you are. Half of us, we were brought up in religion anyways, going to church 700 times a week and still come out broke, busted, and disgusted. Still going through saying it's just routine. Not really understanding like the power that we have or we're supposed to have. It's like a routine of just going through the motions. And when I was growing up, we had some little mean old ladies in church. I'm like, I don't know what type of God you serving. You too mean. Little mean ushers, just mean old ladies. That ain't right. That wasn't right. That was religion. Just being mean for no reason. Mean spirited. Running folks away from church. But when you operate in the spirit of excellence, the bad is going to come with the good. It's going to draw haters. That's part of it. This is the bad. People are going to try to exaggerate your failures. They're going to try to dig in your past. They're going to try to place limits on you, keep you boxed in. They don't want you to think how God wants you to think. They want to put limits on how you should think. If you're not thinking black, you're thinking whack. All that. Like they want to put limits. They want to try to suppress your independent thinking. Like they want to place limits on you. And you would be hated for it because they're gonna call you a sellout. They'll take your black card away from you. Like, who's responsible for saying you can't remove a person for who they are just because they're not thinking how you want them to think? We got to stop this foolishness. Let people think freely for themselves. Like, no, respect folks for where they are. Um, People are going to try to speak death over your success. They're going to curse you, speak words over you to kill your success. They're going to try to bring up things that I'm just going over my list here. They're going to try to bring up things that you learned your lessons from, that you don't got past and you were over it. You're like, you know what? I learned my lesson. Yes, I did it and I don't moved on. They want to keep you stuck in your past. But just as there is good, just as there is bad, there is good too. And we have to remember, like I said, you would gain unexplained favor when you're operating in the spirit of excellence. The people who you're connected to, they're going to be blessed. They're going to be blessed. The wealth will come. The money will follow when you're operating in the spirit of excellence. People are going to see your value. People are going to see that there's something in you. They're going to choose you. They're going to hear you, see you, and choose you. You're not going to have to run behind folks and say, see me, see me. No, they're going to see that value. They're not going to ask you what you bring to the table. They're going to see what you bring to the table. They won't even ask you that question. They already see the value that you have. There will be many opportunities that will be available when you operate in the spirit of excellence. And God will always give you the wisdom you need to continue to move correctly, to move in the right way, as long as you stay connected to Him. He'll give you the wisdom you need. Just don't allow the noise to stop you. Don't allow the hate. Don't allow people lying on you. That's another thing that I didn't put in there, but it comes with haters. When you got haters, they're gonna lie on you, slander your name. That's part of it. But don't let the noise stop you. Don't let the noise stop you from operating in that excellent spirit. Ask God to supernaturally protect you. Ask him to move whoever he got to move out of your way that's trying to hinder you hinder you from doing what you have to do. That's how that goes. But thank you all. I am so glad you all stopped and listened in with me tonight. I was having a little difficulty getting on, but I made it. I wasn't going to give up because I know I needed to do this message. And I appreciate you all for coming in. I hope this message has encouraged you all. I hope this message has given you some some enlightenment, enlightenment to um, just open your mindset, open your thinking. Like just like we were talking about in the book of Daniel, when I did that live a couple of Sundays ago, how the princes and the other priests of that time just was so jealous. You go read the book of Daniel. I think it's Daniel chapter 6. How they were so jealous because he was operating in that spirit of excellence, and they was trying to find fault in him. And that's what people will do when you're walking and you're doing good. You don't get into the gossip. You're not into people business. You don't talk about people. That makes other people look at themselves, and they don't want to look at themselves. It's not like you're doing it intentionally. You're just operating in the spirit of excellence, and people don't like that. They want to find anything on you. It's how sick people are. They'll try to find anything on you just to make you feel bad like them. Why they just can't go on about their business? Let you be. You're letting them be, but you're going on about your business. You doing what God is telling you to do, how he's telling you to behave and act, and they getting upset. They're getting jealous because you're operating. See, nowadays, let me tell you something. Nowadays, you don't have to do much. You don't have to do much to operate in the spirit of excellence. You don't have to do much. You know why? Because most people are not trying to do what's right. They want to stay in that low vibrational behavior. They want to stay in that low vibrational behavior. Have you ever talked to people? Just everything is contentious. Like, I don't trust them. Like, you ever talk to those people? They stress me out. I immediately say, okay, I'm out. I got something to do. Because people like that, you will never be able to get to see your point of view because they're filled with spirits that they need to be delivered from. Like, just everything. Like, you just walk up and say, hi, how you doing? I'm doing. How you doing? I'm just, they don't have no. I don't know if y'all have experienced people like that. Just everything out of their mouth is words of, you know, words of just wanting to just fight and just be like them type of spirits. You got to shut down and you got to get away from, because what they're dealing with has nothing to do with you. They'll try to make it about you, but it has nothing to do with you. Them type of spirits you need to get away from. Because what it is, let me tell you what it is. A lot of people hate the chosen ones. For one, because you're chosen and you're favored. You carry the light on you. But for two, in their mind, in their head, they want you to be a certain way that you're not. They want you to be how they have perceived you in your head. And if you don't match what they put in their head about you, when you don't match, it does something to them. Because I did a message about this too a little while ago, and I gotta go. People like you until they find out you're chosen. They like you until you don't have the same perspectives as them. You don't have the same view. You don't view the world like them. When you have your own individual way of thinking, your own process, you trying to think like the Lord. You trying to think righteously. When you don't think like them and they realize that's not you, they ain't gonna want to talk to you no more. They're not going to want to talk to you. because they see that you're not on what they're on. They see you don't see things like they see it. They see you don't see the world like they see it. They see that you're not speaking broken knees over your life. You're not speaking fear, talking about the world and the economy, because you're trusting in God. You're trusting that God is going to protect you and provide for you. You're not speaking, oh, the economy this, the economy that. No, you're not speaking that. You're not speaking how they're speaking. And when they see you have more of a positive perspective and you believe more in the Lord, that's a problem for people. I know I'm not the only one that experienced that. Before we go, put a one in the chat if you have experienced that. If you have experienced people, rejecting you because um you don't think how they think. You don't move how they move. You don't believe how they believe because you're trying to put your trust in God that He's going to provide and that He's been providing. You trying to keep your trust in Him, and they trying to get you to trust in this system, this world system. You trying to focus and stay like, Lord, I trust you. You putting on your blockers, your blinders. You're not trying to look to the right or left. You just looking forward. And they want you to be sucked into speaking death over yourself because you know the power of words and you're not going to speak that over you. You got your blinders on and they want to bait you into, oh, I don't care what nobody says, that the economy this. No, no. Where I come from, I'm trusting God. I'm not part of this world system. I'm trusting God. He's going to protect me. He's going to provide. It may not be what I want, but He's going to provide what I need. I may not be able to get the luxuries and do the extras, but I'm trusting that God will provide all of my needs. I'm not going to sit here and speak lack over my life. I'm not going to speak fear over my life because that's how you see it. I don't see it that way. And people will hate you because you are a independent thinker. When you're not under the world's mind control and you can think for yourself, people will hate that about you. They will hate that, but you got to be okay. That's part of it. Part of when you operate in the spirit of excellence, that's part of it. Don't let that stop you from being great. And another thing people try to do, and I'm gonna say this, and I gotta go. People will try to make you become them. That's a bonus there. People try to do things to you to make you become just like them. They try to be evil to you so you can be evil back to them. And your Lord be like, nope, just cut them off. You don't do them like they did you. You need your blessings. I can't do you like you did me. I need all of my blessings. People who don't have put their trust in God, they'll never trust you. They'll never trust anybody. They'll never trust anybody. And that has nothing to do with you. Stop taking on other people's issues that they have with themselves. It's not your fault. Somebody need to hear this. That's not your fault. Stop feeling guilty. Stop taking on somebody else's issue that they have with you. There's nothing you can do. Because even if you try to get an understanding, them folks don't want no understanding. They want you to be like them. They want you to be bitter like them. Miserable like them. No faith, living in fear, broke, busted, disgusted, can't be trusted, just like them. They don't want you to be happy. Have you ever noticed your joy, you smiling and being happy, irritate some people? Yeah. You smiling, being happy, you going about your business. Cause some people to just to be infuriated with you because you have joy that only God can give you. You're doing the work on you. You releasing people, praying for people. You fasting, praying, repenting. You doing all the stuff you need to do. And they sitting there mad because you doing the work. But continue to do the work. Continue to operate in the spirit of excellence. You all be blessed. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Let me give a few shout outs before I go. Let me see. Hello, Matt. I don't know if you're still here. Jacqueline, thank you for joining me. Hey, Keisha. Hey, fam. Got all my family members in here. Nikiana. Um, I said Keisha. I don't know if I said Keisha. Hey, Keisha. She reigns. Hello, she reigns. Who else? Kings and Queens Coaching Group. Shalom. Hello, D. And we have Club 003. Brazy B1. Hello. Who else commented right here? Felina. All right. Thank you for joining me. Sleepster Woody. Thank you for joining me. Marty. And who else? Shantae. Thank you, Shantae, for joining me. Thank you all for joining me tonight. So I got to get ready. I have work tomorrow. So thank you all. I hope this message encouraged you all. And I hope this message opened your eyes to a few things. Okay. So be blessed.